Hi, I am Ewedu Okro and this is 1QFoodplatter Kitchen. Today it's going to be Ewedu Okro Asepo. What this means is a combination of ewedu, which is jute leaf, and okra. Normally, you would cook either okra separately and ewedu separately. But today I said, why not? Because this is what my mom used to do, particularly in the rainy season, because then ewedu is abundant in the market, and so you find her, cooking this. I'm going to be using fish and some prawn, which is already steaming. I like to do that because also the ewedu and okra do not really take much time, to cook. So I'm already steaming the fish and the hard shell prawn, which I have seasoned with onion, pepper, and salt, and just a teeny weeny seasoning cube. And this I will not actually cook to doneness because it will finish off, whilst I'm cooking the soup proper. So let me talk a little bit about ewedu. We call it in Efik etinyon, but the Yorubas call it ewedu. And I find that there are several varieties of ewedu. Some is a Greek, some they say is Ewedu Okro. They are slightly smaller leaves, sort of organic ewedu. But what is interesting is that you have these serrated ones, always mixed with the fairly straight-leaved ones. And I find that, this is more flavorful. The fairly straight-leaved one appears to be more flavorful than this one. But in the market, you find them mixed up. So I have chopped my okra, chopped the ewedu into big chunks, pounded the pepper. We have palm oil, crayfish, seasoning, and salt. And that's really all there is to this very simple soup, which you can knock together in just a few minutes. I would turn off the heat from the fish and heat some oil, and we get started. So we heat up the oil. It's actually to bleach the oil a bit, to have some dark flavor, which I like in this soup, but not too much oil, absolutely. So we allow that to smoke a bit, and then we'll come back to that. Now, talking about okra, I also find out that, the shorter ones sometimes are more resilient, or, the viscosity is better than the slimmer ones. But again, some of these vegetables are seasonal. In the rainy season, okra is abundant, and really you can cook different things with okra. And then you ask in the market women, they will always tell you which one is better. I also find out that for the digestive system, this is absolutely something you should be taking if you're somebody that is prone to constipation. Okra works well for the digestive system. So combine that with the viscosity of ewedu or jute leaf, you are onto something really healthy. But again, you can do without the oil, but that's up to you. So we'll allow this to heat up. When it heats up, it smokes. We then allow it to cool so that we can go on with the rest of the cooking. So let's see. Okay, so this has smoked, and I allowed it to cool a bit. So we start by frying the onion. We allow that to fry a bit. So next we add crayfish. I said at this point I would add the water, but gradually. The oil is a little bit hot, so you don't want to pour water in and the whole thing explodes on your face. So add the water gradually so it cools down the oil, and that's it. Depending on the quantity of okra and ewedu that you have to be careful with the water, just so that the whole thing is not, watery, so to speak. So allow that to boil, but in between I add the pepper. I had pounded for this dish, just so that I have some color and some texture to the soup. Because it's fish, I find that, you know, fish does take quite a bit of pepper, but again, as always, pepper is to your tolerance level. So I blended some yellow pepper and some red scotch bonnet pepper, and that's what I'm adding. Next, I correct the seasoning and add a little bit of salt. I will stir at this point and return, you know, add now the fish, the prawn, and the liquid that you have there, just so that the fish now cooks properly. But when managing fish, be careful, be gentle with the fish, just so that it does not break up. Remember, I had said that I was not cooking the fish to doneness, so it would complete the cooking in the soup. As for the seafood you can add, sometimes when I have crab, I add, and if I have sea snails, I add as well. But for today, it's prawn and fish. Oops, that fell. Okay. So I'll pour in the stock of the fish and then allow this to cook just a little bit. I taste for seasoning. That's fine. The pepper level is just right for me. Not too much liquid, so that by the time I'm adding the okra and the ewedu, it's fine. So we allow that to cook. Also for fish, you cook on low heat. Fish does not like the rush, so you cook it on low heat so that it remains soft at the end of your cooking. So we give that like 2-3 minutes and then we add the vegetables. Okay, so I'll add the okra now. And really, in terms of size to chop the okra, that depends on you. You can have big chunks or you can have, you know, smaller chunks. And then I add the jute leaf or ewedu. You know, in the southwest, you have ewedu cooked separately and okra cooked separately. So I'm saying, why not combine the two in one pot and have a very flavorful soup at the end of the day? I don't have to cook stew separately to combine with these two vegetables. So that's what we have here. So that's our offering for today, Ewedu Asepo. Pick up the ingredients, okra and ewedu from your neighborhood market, and you can cook this interesting recipe. There are many other recipes on 1Q Food Platter, so if you can subscribe, then you get, you know, fresh recipes as we release them onto you. Until I see you next time, it's bye from me.